While the holidays are a time for gathering with family and friends, giving gifts, and creating beautiful memories, we all know that it can be stressful and for some families a source of financial and emotional strain. Let's welcome Dr. Carole Swiecicki, Chief Programmatic Officer for Norton Child Advocacy Center. It's good to have you with us. You know, when it comes to preventing abuse or managing emotions, the term healthy family comes into play. So what does that mean exactly?
Healthy family can mean lots of different things, but at Norton, one of the key pieces of a healthy family that we focus on is healthy communication. A family that talks about both positive experiences and emotions and balances that by having open space to talk about negative, upsetting, or hard emotions and situations too.
And what's the best way to broach that, to broach the conversation, to kind of let it out instead of keeping it bottled up inside?
Yeah, part of it is not thinking you have to do it all at once. You know, families that have open communication talk about these things multiple times, which ideally, if you haven't been doing it a lot, can make it a little easier because you can do it in bits and pieces. What I suggest is starting with what we talk about as like the highs and lows of the day, or roses and thorns, some people talk about it, like when you're having dinner or even in the car in between activities, asking your child, hey, I'd love to hear about your day. Tell me one great thing that happened and tell me one hard thing that happened. And that way you're starting just by recognizing there are both positives and negatives and that you're a safe person for your child to talk about those things with.
Now, it's one thing for a parent to ask their child, you know, what's on their mind, what makes them happy, what's bothering them. But then what about for adults? Because adults, they got to keep that strong demeanor. They have to keep a strong face when they are in the midst of financial woes and other stressors. So how do we address their stresses?
Right. It's sort of the analogy of the airplane, of putting your air supply on first. Adults, we need to take care of ourselves, and there's this expectation, especially around the holidays, of making everything magical, and that there somehow wouldn't be stress with that for parents, but there is stress. And there's a balance, I think, with showing your children that you can handle hard conversations and you can handle stress, and acknowledging that that doesn't mean you won't feel stress, but it's maybe modeling for them that you talk to people about it. Maybe you talk with one of your siblings or your spouse, or you talk to a therapist or somebody within your church. You get support by sharing that burden. And also you maybe do things like take a walk, you take deep breaths, you know, eat and nourish yourself regularly. You know, those are all things that you can show your child that you do to take care of yourself, and that it's normal to do those things. Yeah. And for you as an adult, recognizing it's important to do that. It's important to label your emotions and be able to share those with people and talk with other adults in your life, so you do have the ability to listen to your child's hard feelings too.
And I know a lot of people, they just bear the weight of the world on their shoulders, and it does take time for all of that to come out. And when you say that you need to talk to people about it, you know, one day turns into 2 days, turns into a week, turns into a month. So how do you go about making sure that you find the day, that you pick a day, that you take the time to do all of these things?
Right. I would say start today. Start small. It doesn't have to be, oh, you know, a week from now, I will have the one day where I decide I'm going to talk about my emotions. Maybe today is the day that you say to someone, gosh, I've been struggling. And that's all you start the conversation with, but it opens up the opportunity to say, for them to say to you, I'm so sorry that's going on. How can I help? Yeah. Or, gosh, I've been struggling too, and I've been talking to this therapist about it. Right. You know, it shares that, just labeling that you're struggling. Mm-hmm. Even brain research shows it helps calm down that part of our brain that processes emotions.
Well, Dr. Swiecicki, excellent advice as always. And if you see something, say something. So if you notice that someone's down or blue, you want to maybe be the one to reach out as well. So I want to thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me.
And happy holidays.
You too.
We're back in 2 minutes.